What's up guys, it's Nogo here back for another VOD review. I have not done this in a while. This is a quad attunement build. Not sure what node win is. I'm not going to be commenting on reinforce anymore with the new change. As if you're wondering if reinforce is worth it now, I believe it still is. I'm going to make another video on that in the future, but for now I'm just going to look at the gameplay itself. Yeah, that's Fire Palm. Honestly, if they have Fire Palm, you have to be really attentive to it because they know that it has no sound cue, so they'll often like turn their body away to try and hit you with it. But there, you can kind of just get caught mid action. Like I get caught by Fire Palm when I'm like mid side gun, so there's not really much you can do there. If you're mid action, you know, just it is what it is. Just trying to be a bit more careful next time. Don't get Fire Palm spammed. It's a good spit. See, another issue is he has all these mantras and he's not using any of them. Like, if you're going to go like a quad attunement mantra, but you got to be fainting a lot. Like, you got to be mantra fainting a lot more than he already is. So try and get your mantras to land. Otherwise, you know, why did you go all these different mantras? You should have just gone some like Silent Heart. There's a really good thing you do is M1 feint, M1 into Radiant Kick. That lands pretty often. Fireblade after parry, but we're just not seeing any of this right now, so. Also, another thing I should say is on this fire eruption right here. It's kind of similar to Burning Servants, where you can parry the second hit fairly easily. I would say just walk and just know the parry timing, and you'll always know it for future events. So right here where they procs Flame Eruption, you should definitely walk into this and parry the second part because it deals, I believe, a lot of posture back. Cause I think it's an instant guard break too. So right here, I would walk into it, go for the parry, which are gonna max out their posture. It's gonna make something like Ashlam, maybe even Fireblade if it's not level 5, guard break as well. I'm not sure now what one is, but it could be that too. Good combo stream right there. I've never seen slide on disruption, but that works. Also, one thing for the LFT guy in the clip, I'm going to assume they're on the Neve crit. Yeah, they're not starting their crit enough. So for the enemy side here, if you're LFT, you need to be spamming your crit as much as you can because the crits are so busted and you want to have full opportunity to use them as often as possible. But again, barely mantra did any of their mantras. It's just not ideal. Again, that's Fire Palm with no sound cue. Like the reason why he got hit here is because he didn't even realize that this guy casted Fire Palm. Like you barely notice it, and it's because of no sound cue. So again, if you know they have Fire Palm on their hotbar, you have to always be looking at your opponent, even if you're trying to dash away. Always have your eyes on your opponent. So if you do see them try to turn their body to hide the Fire Palm, or looks like they're about to cast it, or you know, like if they're at that distance, the other opponent will usually use something like Revenge, or just a long range move to try and stamp you. Like I personally would use something like Windblade, but if you know they have Fire Palm, you know they're going to do this, you have to know like, okay, he's going to go for the Fire Palm, or you know, Flare Blade crit as well. You got to be ready to parry. And he misses the parry because he just reacted too late. Took a lot of damage because of it. That's a good punish on the Flaming Scourge there. A bit late on the M1 though. Again, right there, easy parry on the Flaming Eruption, max out their posture. Flight on Disruption, I have nothing to say about it. I've never seen that, so kind of speechless on that. See, good. Prepared to Fire Palm because he realized he used it. It patches off nothing. It's not too good in my opinion, but it really just never lands. Okay, right there is, yeah, he didn't realize, but Radiant Dawn, I believe, is not parryable, which is why you hear the like the ice eruption type sound. So if you see them use Radiant Dawn, so right there, he basically kind of lost when We go back in here. So they use Radiant Dawn. He full rolls immediately because he saw an action, so he immediately reacted with the wrong action. Remember, you have to react and not predict. So I guess he predicted it was like an M1 or like Radiant Kick or something like that, and he just instinctively rolled. The thing is, he full rolled right there. He didn't roll cancel. So usually you only want to full roll if you're fighting something like a Manny Caddy, or if you get like strong lefted and you want to like air dash away to proc go, something like that, which is what I do. But full rolling in most scenarios is a very bad idea because look, now his rolls off cooldown and now he's just forced to parry, but this move is not parryable. So what happens? He gets guard broke and takes a ton of damage for that. So if they proc Radiant Dawn, if they use Radiant Dawn and you didn't roll initially, save your roll to roll the Radiant Dawn. It's a very easy roll because if you're forced to block or parry that, you lost. Like it's over. Now if you're showstopper and days into it, it is what it is. He could have used Wind Passage to get out of there as well, which I would do with something like that. So if your rolls on cooldown, parries on cooldown, or you just can't parry, it doesn't matter, like it's unparryable, what you want to do is use a burst mobility move such as Wind Passage here, which will get you out of that situation, and there's no way they could chase you from like Radiant Dawn. That's what I do with Dash as well. So these types of moves are called a burst mobility moves, what I like to call them, which is why I also don't use Spring Spark on my dashes, because I want to have as much burst mobility as possible to get out if I need to cast my buffs or something like that, or just get out of bad scenarios. Kind of misparry right there. There you need to realize that Flame Eruption will not cancel even if you parry, so yeah, I definitely should have gone for the parry on the second part right there, not the M1 back. You could go for the M1 back, but it's a bit risky, so unless you're like, I think it's still possible, I'm pretty sure it is, but it's just a bit risky to go for the M1 back sometimes if you don't know your swing speed or not, and if it would land for, that is just a complete misfam right there. It'd take a lot of punish for that. Oh, guess not. Again. Roll? Yep, it's a good roll right there. So there he rolled properly and he was not punished and he did not take a bar of damage for it. But again, a lot of this are just kind of like, he's not like parrying properly, right? So right here, go for this. You see them move away. You want to parry right here, but I think he tried to go for them. I'm not sure here, but his parry was not on cooldown right there, so he definitely could have parried that. And he is not rolling out this fire as fast as you should. You want to be rolling out fire as fast as you can, and right there is good. He parried the Flame Eruption there. That's how you should be doing it. Gonna tap this bit. Oh, alright, I first should hit back on the Radiant Kick. Now it's just like a battle of cheese. Nice. Okay, you should have been a lot faster than the Rising Shot. I'm not even sure if he has that modded too. It's really slow there. Nice. Nice. That's really good. He punished the guard break accordingly and got the most damage out, but he could have gotten off that too, which is really good. Okay, one thing right there. So one thing right there is, you guys saw that when he used Heretic Sutra. So when you use Heretic Sutra, and a lot of people don't know this, but you actually can't roll, and you're basically pseudo dazed in a way. You're slowed and you can't roll. So right here, when you saw him use Heretic Sutra in his face, a slide Ice Eruption right here would have landed 100% because this guy literally has no way, like you can't parry Ice Eruption, right? So if he slid into Ice Eruption, then it would have landed 100%. But because he waited a bit too long, he was able to get his roll back, and then this guy was able to punish, or rather, not get punished by the Ice Eruption. They're pretty good. First time this guy ever uses crit. So yeah, this guy, the other LFT guy, is playing super badly because this guy is not using his crit at all, or barely using their crit. That is not even level 5 Fireblade. If you're looking for a spit now, this person has no posture at all. Nice combo right there. People do not know how to use LFT crits. Unlucky. Hit that. Yep. There you go. Nice win. So, yeah, Prism played it pretty well near the end. At the start, not so much. So, just to go over the VOD review real quick. So, it's mainly just a lot of parry issue, as they honestly do know how to combo off well when they do land their M1s. They know like how to string and get the most damage possible. But a lot of it is honestly just parry issue in the sense that they need to learn to react more instead of trying to predict parry. Even though it is LFT, it is a light weapon, it is pretty hard to do, but they do try to practice a lot trying to parry off reaction and not prediction. They're going to play a lot better. Another thing is Fire Palm. It has no sound cue currently. I pray it gets a sound cue one day, because right now it is really cheesy. But if you know they have a long range move like Fire Palm, Flare Blade Crit, Windblade, Revenge, like moves like these, and you're at like that range where they're able to use it, and it looks like they're going to use it because of how they're playing. Like if they're not holding W at you, but they're just facing you, it means they're probably going to use a move like that. So you got to be ready for the, in a way, I wouldn't say predict, but be ready to react to it accordingly. For Fire Palm, you kind of do have to predict it, even with no sound cue if they hide the animation for it. And on things like Flame Eruption as well, it's kind of small because no one actually runs Flame Eruption, but it's like that big move where they do the big explosion. You want to run into them like Burning Servants and parry the second hit if you can, because it deals a lot of posture back, which can open up some combos for you to punish them back with a high posture move. Another thing is Radiant Dawn as well. If you see them use Radiant Dawn, either use Burst Mobility away if you can't dodge for whatever reason, or just save your dodge and then just dodge it fully. It's a very, very easy dodge. Yeah, don't try to parry it because you can't, and you just get guard broke. So yeah, basically it for the Valkyrie. Prism played pretty well though, and yeah, they played really well in the end. Landed like I think three Eclipse kicks too, which is really hard to do. So yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty good quad attunement clutch. But yeah, I'm not sure if you rerunning a Fireblade if it's not a level 5. I'm not too sure. We're in the second fight right here. It is an Ice Fist build, and you guys see Iceberg, and people actually don't know this, but Iceberg is now actually a lot better and probably I might creep into the meta maybe because Reinforced now is a lot more inconsistent now until they do a certain bug fix with Dead Gods. So yeah, Iceberg is actually really good now, and yeah, let's go watch how the fight plays out. Dash in the air for no reason, right here, which is going to get them punished. Bang. Start right there. Yeah, if you use Lightning Clone after parry, there really is not much you can do. Basically, it's just in a way like it literally just true damage, it feels like, because it is really hard to actually parry back. Rather, it's hard to parry because it's really short windup. Like I saw, like it's basically instant, right? Like boom, it's just instant like that. So yeah, if you know that Lightning Clone, you know they're gonna spam it. You kind of do have to sometimes predict parry because you really just don't have a choice unless your reaction time is very, very crazy. It's basically the equivalent of like a dagger, like a crazy slot dagger in one. Good frames there to prevent as much damage as possible. Good punish. Lucky miss parry right there. Should vent a lot earlier to prevent as much damage as possible than rather than waiting so long. That's what a lot of people do on accident, or rather on purpose, should say. But what they do is, you see how you got comboed like right here, like he got hit right here, took an M1 and half a crit. If he would have vented right after the Thunder Kick, he would have prevented at least, I think, half a bar of damage right there, or at least like 5, rather, well, half the damage you took here, right? I was like, what? Like that, like you would have basically prevented like half a bar of damage right there if you just vented at the Thunder Kick. So it's kind of like a stereotype to like vent after you get hit once, but it's what you probably should be doing, because vents are meant to prevent damage, and you want to prevent damage as much as possible. So you should be venting after you get hit once, which I try to do. If I usually try to do it like a bit later from like, okay, I can't parry when you gotta conserve your vent a lot more, but still a really good habit to vent after you're hit once. But eventually they might actually learn to parry your vent because of this action that you do. So you kind of have to change your vent a little bit and look at what they're doing, see if they're gonna roll your vent or not. And so you can do it after mid action, like mid crit. But that's an issue they did, and they took a lot of damage for that. So the Lightning Clone spam, very, very Brandon move. Can't really blame him. Nice punish. Nice. Getting a punish for no reason. Oh, yes. A lot of this is just a bit of a parry issue though. Like just kind of taking a lot of M1s back. Granted, Spear can be a bit of janky to fight sometimes. They should have gone for Legion Grab, but they got it anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Nice. Good vent. Another good grab, nice. Close spamming is what it is. But yeah, they're getting hit a lot because they're mid-action. They're using a lot of action and they're actually too far to actually hit them. You see right there, they're basically just M1 in the air right here. So, go to, rather, wait, back a bit more. So right here, they are miles away, and this guy he's going for an M1 when they're this far, and this person's on fist. There's no way it's gonna land, right? Maybe he has a macro, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's him trying to M1 the air, he gets punished for basically just for free. He takes a lot of damage for that too, and then ends up taking more damage without venting right there. Both are low though. Oh yeah, I didn't realize. Iceberg. Okay, that barely heals anything. And that's still healing though. I think I definitely have to add a rush shards to his iceberg to heal a bit more there, but yeah, if you're gonna have a healing move like Iceberg, you gotta use that off cooldown, but this person's not enough modifiers to actually make it significant. So he healed like barely 1%. Good roll there on the lightning cleanse though. Nice. And they're gonna end up losing the fight right there. So we're gonna go back a bit right here. So again, right here, I think they end up like M1 in the air or something like that, right? Just kind of let go of their F key right there. Unlucky. Another thing as well, look at their tempo bar. They could have vented during any of these sequences, and they just did not vent. And look, they ended up losing. It's like they're trying to bring their vent to the next fight. Like you can't bring your vent to the next fight. You got to use all your tempo while you're in that fight. And now they ended up losing by maybe they could have won that match if they used that vent there, and then they would have ice smashed into Perchin and won. So look over this fight. So for the, I have to say on this fight is they didn't use their vents very well, or rather they didn't use their vents. They didn't time their vents well, is what I should say. They didn't get their vents predicted. However, a lot of time they vented when the damage was already done, and when they would have had their paraframe back by the time they vented, meaning they did not have to vent. So you go on a vent at the very start of the fight, or sorry, not the start of the fight, but when you first get hit, and you want to make sure you don't see your vent for the next match as well. You can see that their tempo is basically just, they still have enough for a vent, they just didn't vent at the end and they died because of it. But their offense is honestly really pretty good, except for when they kept swinging at the air. Just swinging at the air is a real strategy that a lot of good players, or rather like the high elo players, should say, do to try and they try to I think it's a perfect cast their mantras by doing that. When they M1 the air and then they cast the mantra after it is faster. But this person did, their only move like that was kind of like ice daggers, but they just kind of swung at the air without trying to do that, right? So if you're going to swing at the air, realize you can get caught mid-action very often, especially with auto track moves like Radiant Kick. So yeah, you don't want to be swinging at the air, especially if your range is so low. So yeah, they should not be doing that. Only be swinging if you're actually near your opponent, so you can actually hit them or connect with them. So they either parry you or you just actually hit them. Otherwise, you see they got punished by Radiant Kick earlier. And if you're gonna have a move like Iceberg as well, that's gonna heal you, like I guess old Reinforce, I guess you could say, is like Iceberg's like the new Reinforce, I guess you could say. You want to use using your Iceberg alive. If you're here just trying to win, you want to use your kit to its full capability. So you're gonna want to be using Iceberg as often as you can. Granted, it barely healed anything, but it's because they gotta add some modifiers to it to actually make it a good mantra that heals a lot. And yeah, Iceberg is honestly pretty good. But honestly, their offense was pretty good when they did land some hits. You knew how to connect and chain their mantras and their M1s well together. So yeah, honestly, they played out pretty well, even though they did end up losing. Hopefully they can bring this to the next fight and win the match. And if you would like to submit a VOD review, just join my Discord server, then check the pins for the format. It's basically right here, so we'll have good audio, video good quality, and yeah, don't send something like this because I'm not too sure if this is too readable, but yeah. If you're gonna do the video, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.